introduction. And so today's topic, a little bit background about digital highway and this topic. I have been in business now, business and working, professional life and business life, nearly, about 24 years. And I have seen the traditional businesses. And because I'm a very keen learner, I have updated myself on technology, kept myself up to date. And I understand that how the technology applies to the world now. Believe me, 60, 70, 80% of the principles of business have not changed. But what has happened is there's a lot of confusion out there. It looks like the digital world is a very different world, and it is some sort of Alice in Wonderland, and people who are doing the traditional business do not want to do the digital business. But it is not at all like that. So today's session is more like a demystifying session. Make it very simple. What is this? What is this all about? It is, and I'm going to draw as far as possible parallels between the old ways and the new ways, so that you understand that how it is related. Especially lot of opportunities for the people who are in the traditional business or who it's going waste because they are not able to simply connect the dots. They are keeping away from a market which is really growing. The world is changing, but because they are not able to understand how it relates with what they already know, the opportunities are being missed. Let us hope this webinar for all the people who are attending here today, and for those who will see the recording, will be useful for you to understand this digital highway. Now let us begin. What is a digital highway? Now let us begin with the idea of what is a highway. What do highway and roads do? Okay, what do highway and roads do? They connect, right? They connect people, they connect buildings, they connect localities, they connect cities, they connect states, they connect countries, and then finally they connect the whole world. So a highway is a way of connecting. Now you come to a digital highway. What is a digital highway? A digital highway is a method to connect people, their mobile phone, their computers. When a lot of computers come together, it becomes a network. When a lot of networks come together, it becomes a very big network. And then when all these things get connected together, they call it a worldwide network. WWW, World Wide Web. This is it. It is as simple as understanding that a digital highway connects all of us, in a way that it is not seen. The physical road, the physical highway is seen. The digital highway is a combination of so many things which are not seen. For example, there will be cables under the road. There will be satellites. There will be Wi-Fi connection. There will be connection through telephones. There will be individual computers in the home. There will be mobiles in the hand. There will be headsets. There will be something happening inside the computer. So it is not really visible, but it is as much an highway as the physical highway. So when we talk about digital highway, you should remember that it is a huge connection system which is connecting all of us. And the main aspect of this is the internet. The internet is like the blood in our body, which connects everything together. So there is something like this internet, which is connecting all these components together, and we are able to connect to each other. That's it. There is a physical road, and then there is a digital highway. That's all that you need to know in terms of understanding that how are we connected. There are technical terms like gateways and this and that, but for the person who's looking at this from the application side, you should all know that we are connected through a digital technology. That is more than sufficient, and that is not seen, but it is more effective. It helps us connect more effectively than the physical roads. Okay. Now, again, from the application side, what are the key growth areas? When we are saying that people are missing out on the opportunity of being on the digital highway, There are many opportunities, but these are the 6 that we have identified. And we believe that these are huge opportunities which can change a lot of things in our life. It can impact how we are, the kind of people we are, our personal growth factors. It can affect our financial factors. It can affect our ability to connect with people. It is our ability to understand life itself. So these are very important aspects. Let us look at it, one by one. The 6 key areas of growth that, are interesting. One is learning. The whole learning system today, if you need to know something, okay, if you have a question, where are you going to go? I'll just take a small break here. Give me if you have a question, who are you going to ask? Come on, let's have a quick answer. If you have a, yeah, who are you going to ask? Yes. Do I see a lot of Googles coming up? Yes. Okay. Correct. Now, why do we ask Google? We ask Google because we are sure that Google is going to give us a quick answer and in no time. Correct. That is the reason why we are using Google. Now, suppose if you want to know a recipe to cook something, where are you going to go? Again, come on, quick answers. I'm taking a pause. If you want a recipe to cook something, where are you going to go? Yes. Do I see a lot of YouTubes? Yes. It's a favorite place. Yes. I cooked my first meal looking at a YouTube video. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that everything, the learning systems has moved away from the physical world and largely into the internet using various tools that is available. Okay. So by understanding the digital highway and the learning systems that are involved, we have just discussed 1 or 2 here. Then there are blogs, then there are free learning courses, then there are paid learning courses. There's an entire system of learning over there, and we need to use this learning system because a large part of it is free. In Heartful Learners Academy, we are trying to remove curated content. The problem is we don't know which content out there is useful for us and what content is not useful for us. So we are going to try to help, create this filter and bring to you curated content where you can be very sure that, if it's coming from Heartful Learners Academy, then 80-90% this is really great. I don't have to go around searching. They have done the searching for me on good content. Next is the ability to teach. All of us have some great knowledge, some skill, which may be 70-80% ready. And if we are able to harness that skill and take it deeper, improve our communication skills, if we are able to structure our knowledge, and present it to others, then a great trainer and a teacher from us can emerge. What in the modern world they are calling a digital coach. See, I am a businessman. I am not really a coach. Training is my passion. So I am combining my knowledge of business and my passion and learning. I'm making my knowledge deeper and sharper, my communication skills better. And this is how I'm presenting to all of you. I am teaching. These are all free material. Some of my material is going to be paid for, and I'm going to make money out of it. So this is another great opportunity that, within you, whatever life you have led, there is a teacher in you, there is a trainer in you, and you can create this teaching platform and teaching opportunity, first with the motive of helping others, and second, following it up with making money. The third area of growth is sales. The internet, the digital market is growing at a huge speed. If there is a 10%, say 5% growth in the physical world, there is 15%, 20% growth in the digital world. And with the youngsters coming in more and more, how many of them prefer to really go out there and leave their rooms and leave their mobiles? Difficult, no? If you are all connected with youngsters, most of them are stuck to the mobile. So as this generation keeps coming into the market, what do you think? Is the sales potential of the digital world going to increase or is it going to come down? Okay, those who think that this potential is going to go up a lot, please press 1. Yes, please participate. Yes, I'm seeing ones coming. Yes, yes, yes. You know, we can be idealist and say this is not good for the generation, and you know they should go out. But you know, life is not what it should. At least the business is not what should be, what is the ideal state, but what is. A businessman works with reality, doesn't work with idealism. So you know, the fact is that this generation is going to come onto the digital highway, and if we are looking to sell, we have to get connected to the digital highway. So in the selling side, there are two aspects. You know, one is you can sell your own products and services. If you're having your own products and services and knowledge, you can sell that. Second is you can sell others' products, others' services, and others' knowledge. You know, we'll explore this a little later, but it is, you know, there are two aspects of sales that you have to keep in mind. Either you sell what is yours, or you sell what is somebody else's. You know, in the traditional world, this was called reselling. You know, you're trading, taking it from there, or you are an agent. Here in this world, it is called affiliate. It is called an affiliate marketeer. Okay? The fourth area that we want to talk about is content creation. Because a lot of people are coming on to the web, we need people who can create digital content. The slides that you're seeing in front of you is a digital content. A video that you see is a digital content. A iPod that, music that you hear is a digital content. Ebook that you see is a digital content. So as more and more people come into the digital world, you require more and more content. A website needs a lot of content to be put on that, you know, so that people can see and use that content and move towards the purpose why that content has been created. So this content creation, or most of us don't realize that with a little bit of training, well, I will not make it so simple. With some training, you know, you can get into this world of content creation and help not only yourself, you know, but a lot of other people, and also make money out of it. Believe me, you know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks back, I could not do a post. I did not know how to design a post. I did not know how to make a video. I mean, I knew the theory, but I did not do it. Because of lockdown, I got deep into it and I have upskilled myself. And today you can see, you know, how just, you know, by 6 or 8 weeks of effort, how much a person who did not know how to create one post, today you can see the amount of digital content I'm creating and posting. You know? So it is possible. You know? And if you become really good at it, this can be a big money spinning machine for you also. And even if you don't want to make it money spinning, you can help people. There are people who cannot create content. They have ideas. You can create the content for them and help them move forward in life. Next is the aggregators. See, aggregate now for the next few years at least, you know, this is a great opportunity. People don't understand the digital world, you know, but if you are smart with some training, if you can move fast, and if you know that there are certain types of common needs, you know, for example, say somebody who's just finished 12th and is looking for career opportunities and career guidance. Can you be fast and search the internet and look at the nice websites which have all this career guidance, you know, write to them, have some sort of a loose tie-up with them and create an aggregate model so that in one place, anyone who comes to you will get his problem solved out. Take another example, Ola or Uber. What are they? Do they own any taxis? They don't. They don't own one single taxi, but they are aggregators. They collect all the taxis, they connect them, they find out what is the need, they direct the taxis and they make money. So this aggregator model is a very big opportunity and it will be there for some time in India because by the time people understand digital technology, you can get into this area. Okay? And it requires some effort, it requires some research. But if you are able to identify the needs of the people, you know, if you are able to identify the needs of the people, and if you are able to search the web, you know, and curate the good content from the bad content, the good guys from the bad guys, the ethical guys from the non-ethical guys, and aggregate it and make it a one-window solution, this is a great opportunity. The next is building communities. Here you can see that Deepak and myself, we have taken lead and we have experimenting with this Heartful Learners Academy. So as we, similarly, you can find interest groups, take anything, if you are a tennis player or you're a sports guy, make a group around athletics and sports and keep sharing content which is common to that. If you are somebody who is in the area of health and safety, create a group around that. Even if it's a 25-member group, 30-member group, doesn't matter. As the community comes together, it keeps growing, And this internet gives a huge opportunity to build communities in various ways. WhatsApp is one method, but there are so many tools out there where you can build communities. And in the world that is coming, where network will be net worth. If you have a very good network, then your net worth will be considered very high. So you can write these words down. Network is equal to net worth, and the digital highway gives you this opportunity. For the rest of the presentation, for today's presentation, we are going to focus more on the selling part. This is what we are going to talk about. And these other things we will talk about a little later. But today's presentation is going to focus more on the selling aspect. So now what is the rest of the presentation going to be? Okay. The rest of the presentation is going to be understanding the selling part. What is digital marketing? What is social media? What is social media marketing? What is e-commerce? What is, then we will look into all these things. These are very big words, but how easily they all connect. And what is digital marketing actually? I've made a very nice slide. I will share it to all of you. With that, it will become very clear that, what are these various components? How do they get connected? What is this? What is that? How is this component related to that? But first, let us try to understand the concepts, and then let us see how it all connects together. And finally, we will say that how we can take advantage of all this. So before I move forward, I will just take a pause. If there are any questions you all wish to ask, I'll just stop for 2 minutes. Yes, feel free to unmute yourself, ask a quick question if there is anything that you wish to ask. So I will ask a question, the basic question which many of you should know. What is the difference between marketing and selling? So the marketing function is about going out there and telling people, I exist. This product, this service exists. Are you interested? If you're interested, please come. And you create that interest in people. It is about reaching out. Marketing is about making yourself known out there to your target market or whoever you want to attract. It's going out there and calling out, hey guys, I am here, please come. Selling is about those who visit you. How do you sell a product to them? The marketing channels therefore are different, and the selling channels are therefore different. The marketing channels, the way you approach people, that is one methodology, and how you sell to them is another methodology. Okay? Selling is a platform, a mechanism, a technique, interface through which you sell your knowledge, product or service in exchange for value from the other person. So this difference is a very clear difference between marketing and selling. So, yes, Shailesh, you want to say something quickly?
Yeah, now it's unmuted now because it's from the whole side.
Sorry. So we moved ahead, Shailesh. We will take your points a bit later.
Yeah, I've just done it in the chat box.
Yes, thank you. So, so this difference between marketing and selling is very important, because when you do digital marketing, you shouldn't get confused. Because digital marketing has people, they think that selling is digital marketing. Actually, it is not. Selling is e-commerce, and digital marketing is your ability to reach the people. So before I move a little ahead, let us look at what is traditional marketing. Okay. Traditional marketing. Again, I ask all of you. What were the mechanisms in traditional marketing? Without getting into digital marketing, can you give me 4-5 examples of traditional marketing? How did you reach out to people quickly? You can put it in the chat box, or you can unmute and quickly reply. What are the 4 or 5 things that you remember that this is how we used to reach people? Thank you. Keep them coming. So let me take a few examples. Newspaper, okay. Then you had leaflets. Then you had those big hoardings, Then you had road shows. People used to go and do all that tamasha, out there, that this is there and that is there, and there used to be a big caravans of taxis and making a lot of noise about it. Road shows they used to be called. Then so these used to be the traditional methods of reaching out to people, the radio and the TV. So now when you switch over to digital marketing, what are we talking about? Most of you are using computers and mobiles and things like that. And you would know by this time that whenever you are surfing, all of a sudden you will see some ad pop up. You are on Facebook, or you are on any app, and all of a sudden something that you seem to be interested in pops up. Okay, that's an ad which is called a digital ad. Apart from that, you keep getting advertisements on SMS, on your Facebook Messenger, or when you are when you're using an app, when you're using an Android app, you will all of a sudden get an advertisement. All these examples are are of examples of digital advertisement. Google, when you type something on a Google search engine, the top 5 or 7 posts that you see, I don't know whether all of you realize, those are advertisements. When you type something, the Google search engine will first throw up the websites or the pages which have advertised for the keywords. What are keywords? Keyword is something that you're typing inside the Google search engine. That please tell me haircutting salon, best haircutting salon. So best haircutting salon is a keyword. And those who have advertised for those keywords and paying Google money, their advertisement gets pushed up, and the other results will be below the advertisement. So what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm trying to bring out here is the traditional marketing, difference between traditional marketing and digital marketing. Digital marketing is all inside the mobile and computer, inside the app, inside the search engines, and that is the digital marketing. But at the same time, I would also like to put it in a way that it doesn't end there. When you use digital marketing, you must also see whether the customer is a type who will close, who will be happy only with the digital marketing, or does the digital marketing have to be followed up with further kind of engagement with the customer? This we will see little later. There will be certain businesses where pure digital route is okay. Everything will be digital, okay. But there will be certain businesses or certain opportunities where you may begin digitally, but there has to be an interface of, there has to be other non-digital interface also to make the business move forward. So now, I hope we have covered here the concept of marketing, of selling. What is traditional marketing? We saw examples of traditional marketing, then we saw examples of digital marketing. And now let us look at the advantages of digital marketing. Why digital marketing is becoming so popular? What is the reason behind the popularity of digital marketing? Why we are discussing digital marketing here today? Why are we saying again and again, don't miss this opportunity? First thing is that digital marketing is far less expensive in terms of per customer that comes and buys than traditional advertisements. It is far cheaper. The reason for that lies in the second advantage that I am going to talk about now, is that take an example. Now, suppose if you want to show advertisement on a TV, okay, on some news channel. Now, whoever is watching the news channel will get to see the ad. Okay, whether he's interested in your product, is not interested in your product, it doesn't matter. If he is there, he will get to see the advertisement. But suppose if you have a method, for example, if you want to sell a particular product, say if you want to sell a comb, a very beautiful comb, a new comb that you have come out with, then what is the point in selling it to people who don't have hair? Getting my point? Let's take a better example. You have opened a unisex saloon, in your locality, and it's only a male saloon, then why would you want your advertisement to be seen more by the other sex? It doesn't make sense, in general. So in digital marketing, you are able to focus on your customer. You can actually focus a lot. In digital marketing, you can focus on the demography. What are the kind of people you want to target? On the city, on the income levels, on their interest levels. What is the, if you want to market to people who like Harry Potter books because your product is of that type, you can actually look, you can focus to that level. You can also do it pin code wise, that I want to this advertisement to see only in this pin code. So that is a level of focus that is achievable in digital marketing, which is a great asset. The second thing about third advantage is that you don't have to go out there. The digital world is a world that can run from your mobiles, from your computers, and it is very convenient. You can run it from where you are. The fourth advantage of digital marketing is that you can measure it. When you spend a lot of money on TV ads, newspaper ads, once you have released it, you have released it. You do not know what to do with it. I mean, if it was great, if it's had a hit, great. How many more customers have you got because of that advertisement? You don't know. But in digital marketing, you can come to know to a very great extent the impact of your advertisement expenditure. And if you feel that this impact is not good enough, you can stop your digital expenditure immediately. And that is the reason why it is cheaper, because it is focused and you can stop. This takes us to the next advantage. It is measurable, that the impact of traditional advertisement cannot be measured. If you have a big hoarding out there, how many have seen and how many have come because of that, you don't know. But when you have an ad, you can find out how many people clicked, and of the people who clicked, how many went ahead, and people who went ahead, how many of them really bought. So you can track it. You can track your expenditure on digital marketing. So there are more, but for the purpose of this webinar, it is important to understand that why digital marketing is so important. Okay. If you agree that these are great advantages in digital and marketing, write in the chat box, I agree. If you understood the advantage, that why digital world is so important and that how it beats the traditional traditional marketing, just put in your chat box, I agree. This is exactly what we are trying to do here, to make sure that our community realizes the great opportunity out there, and why it is a great opportunity. Thank you. Thank you for all your lovely interaction. Thank you so much. So let's go to the next one. Now, what is social media? Now, this is another word. Social media. Now, what is social media? Now, let us again look at the old ways. If you wanted to, if people want to interact, for example, if the middle age group people want to interact, where would they interact? Where would they socialize, right? They would go to parties, or they would go to clubs. If the elder people wanted to socialize, where would they go? They would go to the temples. So that's where their crowd is there. If the younger people want to interact, where they'll go? They will go to the parks. They will go to the discos, or they'll go down to the building compound. So you meet people. So social media is a place on the meet. That's it. It's a place where people meet. Facebook is a place where people meet. Instagram is a place where people meet. LinkedIn is a place where people meet. Google Plus is a place where people meet. So all these lovely names that you are putting around, they're nothing but meeting places. Again, just because the youngsters will not go to the temple to socialize, and the old people will by and large not go to the disco to socialize. Similarly, each social group or social media has a purpose. If you are young and energetic, you'll probably go to Instagram. If you are middle age, you will go to Facebook. If you're more business-like, you'll go to Facebook. If you're looking for professional networking, you'll go to LinkedIn. If you are if you're starting your social media journey and you want to become an influencer, or influencer we'll discuss later, if you want to become someone who creates an impact, then you will select a new social media where the crowd is less and where you can create a presence. So social media is something, it's based on what you are and what your needs are, whether it's your personal needs or your business needs. You need to be on the right social media. There is no reason, I see personally, no reason why you have to be everywhere. You can select based on your business needs and personal needs, and try to be strong in one or two social medias and take advantage of it. Trying to spread yourself very far, it's like going to the temple also, going to the disco also, here also. But if it is not in your nature to dance, or if it's not in your nature to be religious, what will you do there? Similarly, every social media has a feel. So you should be there only if you have a feel for that media. And believe me, there is a lot to match your taste. Don't worry. When we look at these social media tools in detail in some other session, we will look at these aspects. Now the next thing, the next animal out of the bag, thing that scares us. What is this social media marketing? Okay. Now let us again take it to the traditional example. In the when you met people in around in the disco, or when you met people in whatever place you used to meet them, in a kitty party or whatever, what all did you do? You had fun. Okay. Then if you could help someone, you could help someone. If there was a new person, you like to know him. If somebody has done something good, you will appreciate him. If there's something that is valid and the people are ready to listen, you will educate them. In general, you will invite people to increase your group. You will build that group. You will connect strongly. You will build trust. And once in a while, if you have a product to offer, you will softly offer the product, and which is called a recommendation. Okay. So social media marketing is just this. You have fun together. People. You appreciate. All the likes and the thumbs ups and the claps. And you invite them to events and this and that. You educate them. Give them a lot of content. And finally, when the people start liking you, and when you build trust, then softly you can recommend your product, your service, but not before that. Remember, social media marketing works on the principle of, first, you can note this down. This is a very, very, very important point. First, you must get to know the person. Then you must get to like the person. Then you must get to trust the person. After that, you make a small handshake, maybe a small product exchange, a small conversion, a small sale. Then you do a big sale. And then there is something more after that. But social media marketing, don't begin with spamming your product, buy this, buy that. No one is interested. Don't waste your electricity bill on spamming that. Social media marketing is an art. And always keep it in mind that don't, be genuine in that is why I said select your social media, where you want to be, and be very genuine. First, get to like people, trust people, know people, have fun together. Later you may, when you feel that there's enough traction, and that is how social media marketing works. If this is one point that all of us have understood from this webinar, it is a great point to take home. If you have loved this point that I made, just put I love it. It will give me a lot of encouragement. If you appreciate this point that I made here, just put in the chat box, I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all this energy and love. Thank you so much. It means a lot. When you do your webinar, you realize that when people comment and they appreciate, the energy level is a very different sort. Today's group is really energetic. I'm so glad. So glad. Thank you so much. Now, let us look at the next one out of the bag. What is e-commerce? So with social media marketing, we have finished the digital marketing part of it, as it is generally understood. But a lot of people also attach e-commerce to digital marketing. Okay? For me, digital marketing is a little different from e-commerce, but it's okay, doesn't matter. You anyway have to understand this. So let us get this. E-commerce, I'm just explained it a bit earlier also. It is a system where you exchange your product. People have, by using the digital marketing, people have come to know you. They have come to your website. They have come to your Facebook page. They have come to your LinkedIn page. They have come to your whatever page you have. They have come. They have Google products. They have seen. Now, after they have come there, what do? So now you need a mechanism, an e-commerce store, where you can transfer value to the customer and he can pay you. After that is done, if it is a physical product, the physical product needs to be packed and it needs to be shipped to you. If it is a digital product, it will come to you and you need to download and you need to enjoy the digital content that you have bought. If it's a course, you need to go through. Okay. Now in e-commerce, you have to be very selective about the channels that you want to sell things. Amazon is not very great on selling certain types of premium products. So if you have premium products, Amazon may not be the place for you. Flipkart, Myntra. Now Myntra is a fashion website. If you're having general merchandise, which is general stuff, Myntra may not go to Myntra to buy fashion. eBay. Now, eBay is a great place to sell electronic items. Great place where people look for deals. People who have the deal mentality. No, they're customers who don't just go there to buy. We want to go and do a deal with the retailer. They will bargain and they like the thrill of the whole experience. So what do? If you tell him one price, big price, you'll lose that customer. Though I like that idea, but I will always lose customer who want to bargain because I believe in first price, great price, honest price. But yes, there is a world out there which wants to bargain. So you have to select your e-commerce channel, whether you are Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, eBay, and there are 50 more out there, 50 hundreds out there, and you have to understand why you have to be on that one. Maybe your business is starting. Why do you want to go to Amazon, get lost in the crores of product out there? Rather go to a smaller website which is going to give you patronage and product and promote your product. So e-commerce decision is not, I know e-commerce, I'll go and sell on Amazon. It is not like that. E-commerce is a strategy. How you're going to design your sales page. When you should offer the discount. When you should not offer the discount. What should you write on the e-commerce? E-commerce page. What is the copywriting? The words, your website title, your subtitle, the photos, everything. Do you know how many seconds a person takes to decide whether he's going to stay on your website or not? Take a guess. Not more than 6 to 8 seconds. Yes, 6 to 8 seconds is the time you get to show your page. And if your first page, what they call is above the fold. This is another interesting element which you can note it down. What is meant by above the fold? Above the fold is that part of your mobile screen, that part of your computer screen, that part of the website which he will see, that part of the information which he will see first, without the need to go ahead, without the need to scroll, without the need to adjust his screen. Whatever he will see on the on the top of the fold, if within 6 or 8 seconds you don't catch his interest, it's gone. You would have paid money to bring him here. But if your e-commerce sales page is bad, then bad luck, guys, you're not getting it right. So, people who say about, hum e-commerce jante hain, hum karte hain, need to go deep. We'll have a deeper session on e-commerce later. Okay. This was just to introduce the concept. Now, this is where this session is all about. This is the key part of today's session. Are we ready? Okay, just say we are ready. Come on, let's see some more energy. Say we are ready. In the chat box, come on. Let's see. Dear members, this is our thing. Simplified learning you can trust. This is my research over the last 2-3 months. And the entire summary of this, in terms of what is digital marketing, I have put it on the screen, and I will spend about 5-7 minutes on this, okay, and try to see if we can, appreciate this, okay. So now all these things, the red dots that you see here, all you see these red balloons that you see here, these are all social media things. Maybe this is Facebook, maybe this is Instagram, maybe this is, something else. This is something else. This is YouTube. This is a search engine. When you go to Google and you type, and then these are blogs. Many people who write articles on the web and publish a page. These are blogs. Many times when you're reading a blog, there is a if you want to know more, please press this and it will take you to a website. The purpose, the purpose of digital marketing, this is approach one. This is approach one. Later, in some other thing, I will show you approach two. But this is 90% of the game. There is another 10%, but let us say this is 90% of the game. The purpose of any social media marketing channel or a blog or a search engine is to bring you to its website. These are like the fishing hooks. You catch the fish and put them in the bucket. You catch the fish and you put them in the bucket. Okay? And the moment he comes to your website, your first page, which is called a landing page. Landing page is a place where the person comes from the social media site to your website, and where he lands is called the landing page. And the landing page has to be so good, that the person feels interested in going ahead. The moment the person comes on the landing page, the first activity that a website should do is that create a lead magnet. Now, what is a lead magnet? This is a very important thing. If a person has come to your website, it is not sales. The challenging news, good or bad, I don't know how you look at it, is that 1 to 3%, possibly 2% of the people who come to your website will convert. So if 100 people come to your website, 1 or 2% will go up till the final sale conversion. Okay. So don't get excited about people coming to your website. And you can really increase this ratio. Actually, if a website is not good, if it is not well planned, 0.25%, 0.35%, 0.5% people will convert. 2 to 3% is actually a good conversion. And that happens when you follow this strategy that I'm going to talk about. Okay. So when you have a lead magnet, what is a lead magnet? A lead magnet is the moment the person comes, within very fast, you should give him an offer. If you give me your email ID or if you give me your mobile number, email ID is very, very important. I will give you this ebook free, or I will give you access to this video, or I will give you access, or I will give you this book, or I will give you something very important for him. I will give you 7 secrets health tips which can help you with this. So in exchange for that free information, the person will give the person gives you his email ID and perhaps his name and telephone number. Take minimum necessary. Name and email ID is enough. If you think that I need to call him, if your business is such that calling is important, take the phone number. But don't take unnecessary details here. It's not important to take his address right now. Just important enough, if necessary, again, just take his PIN code, if necessary. Ideally, just the name and the email ID. And you exchange the lead magnet with him. Lead magnet is something that pulls a lead, and lead is an email or a contact number which he gives you in exchange of that magnet. Now the game starts. What do you do? So generating the lead itself, so when this is called traffic. When you get people to your website, it is called traffic. You have got traffic to your website. You will keep hearing this word traffic, how to build traffic. This is the traffic zone. Okay. Then getting the lead is called getting a lead. This is called converting leads. Next is the third step, which is nurturing the lead. Again, the news out there is that very few people are ready to buy anything when they visit. Even when you do a traditional sale, we covered it in our sales webinar, 10x sales, that 2% to 3% people will convert when you pitch for the first time or second time. It is in the follow-up. The conversion is in the follow-up. 5th, 6th, 10th, 15th, 16th follow-up. Then the balance people will start converting. It is the same thing in digital marketing. If he comes to the website, he sees one, and you should not get disappointed that he did not buy anything. You should be very happy that you have an email ID. And then you have to nurture that email ID. What do I mean by nurturing the email ID? You start giving him content. You start giving him, you start sending him emails. And again, the formula here is know, like, trust, buy. Know, like, trust, buy. So somebody has to know you, like you, trust you, and then buy. And your series of emails and the information that you will give him has to be in the sequence. For example, if it is the first email, you shouldn't say, hey there, this product, please buy, please buy. You don't want to buy. You have to say, hey, it was nice that you were here. You know, do you know this? Do you know that? No, and slowly, as you keep going further and further, then you introduce the product and then you sell. Okay. So this is called nurturing the lead, and there is a complete automated system in the digital world. You don't have to sit and write each and every email. There are autoresponders, there are emails. Today is not the day to talk about these tools. We will do the tools session some other time. But what I'm trying to tell you, there's an automatic system to do this. You plan it once, put the content once, and then the digital world takes care of sending the emails. Okay? So this whole process of nurturing is called lead nurturing, which finally leads to sales. There are two other boxes which I have put here: social media remarketing and email marketing. Email marketing, I just spoke to you that how autoresponders are important and how they create a series of emails, and based on how old is your customer, how old is a person, they will send the right email to him. For a person who already sent 10, 12, 13 emails, they will not send a high email. They will send a product email. They will give something more. Okay. And what is social media remarketing? This is a very nice concept. This is nice to know. Many times you go to Amazon. Okay. You click a product. Okay. And you don't buy. You put in the cart, or you don't even put in the cart, just click the product. How many times when you visit other websites, all of a sudden that product starts coming to you, or similar product starts popping out to you? Do you want to know how? Okay, press in your chat box, I want to know. If I see enough, I want to know, I will give you the secret that how it happens. I'm not saying I want to know, so should I skip this point? Yes? Yes? I want to know? Okay, so I'll give it. So what happens is this digital world is a very, very spy world, you know. Now what happens is moment you reach somebody's website, he attaches something, he attaches a code to you, you know, code to your email ID, the email ID that you have just given to him. He attaches something, you can call it as a small code. And whenever with that same email ID, you log into any social media platform, okay, that code triggers the information on that website that this person likes this product. You know, it is like something sticking onto you, you know, that sticks to you. And the moment you go with that stickiness to any social media platform, the social media platform is aware that you need, you know, that you have shown interest, and it will start showing you these ads. The person whose website is there, he's already configured a lot of advertisements on that particular social media. And when you go there with that stickiness around you, that this person had shown interest in this, that particular ad will start popping to you. So now wherever you go, they follow you, they chase you. Okay. This is called social media remarketing. Not only this, suppose if you have, they will also track that to what level you have engaged with them. Have you just come and gone? Or have you gone till the shopping cart, or have you gone to the price level? So they can track you to what level you have matured as a customer, and the ad that they will show you will be as per that. So this is called social media marketing. They also call it retargeting. Okay, and we will go into this some other time. This was just for the concept. So this is digital marketing simplified. Here you have social media generating traffic going to website. From website, they capture your email. From the email, they do lead nurturing that converts to sale, and email marketing and social media remarketing plays a very important role. Okay. This is the types of website here. You can read here the various purposes of the website that we have, because time is running short. Can we extend this by about 10 minutes? You know, can we extend? I hope everyone can I take till 8:10 today? Is it okay? If it's okay, please type yes, you know, because I'm also enjoying the presentation, and if you can allow this. Do I have your permission to? Yes. Do I see enough yeses there? Okay. So thank you so much. So we will you know, take this forward. So here you see websites are of different types. One is only for information. One is which will improve your personal branding. One is a comparison website, whether I should buy this or I should buy that, which is better. Then blogs, which give you a lot of information and articles. Then content sharing website, where their job is to give you content on a particular item. For example, Wikipedia, is a content sharing website. Community membership websites, where you, as a part of community, you join that and become a member. For example, heartfulness.org is a membership of people who are interested in heartfulness meditation. It's a membership website. Learning management systems. If a website is teaching you courses, free or paid, that's a learning management system. It is tracking the progress of the course and you can ask your questions. It's an entire learning management system. And e-commerce websites, which we have already discussed, which exchange value, for your product and services. So these are different types of websites. And you should be aware that when you want to make a website, the type of website you select, the theme you select, and the strategy that you adopt should be according to what you want to do. Okay. So those who are familiar with things like GoDaddy and all, they will ask you what kind of website you want to make, and then they give you suggestions as per that.